Let me answer your two biggest questions right away. One, yes, you pronounce my name Jeff. And two, the reason I can sing so low is because I have long hair. I have to admit that I was a little surprised by the amount of comments and questions I got on the last video. And I was going through and leaving replies, and it just seemed easier to make a second video that answered some of those questions. So here we go. Let's jump right in. Vocal fry. There was a little confusion in the comments about vocal fry and what that is and how you do it. Is it a breathing out technique? Is it a breathing in technique? It is definitely a breathing out technique, and you are barely breathing. The way that you find vocal fry is by trying to imitate like a creaky door or somebody whining, or if you've seen The Ring, the ghost girl on there, Samara, she does this like thing where you're just barely popping your vocal cords together. That's vocal fry. And what I'd recommend is frying down as low as you can. Because like I said, I think the lower, in my experience, the lower that you can vocal fry, the lower you'll be able to sing. And that leads us into subharmonics. If you're practicing subharmonics and your voice is getting tired, I think that's pretty normal. You're asking your voice to do something that it is not used to doing. So it's going to get worn out kind of quick. Over time, you'll develop more of a tolerance for it. What I'd recommend is not spending a whole lot of time on it all at once. 10 minutes at a time, take a break, maybe 20 minutes and then come back. Otherwise, just working on it throughout the day is totally fine. You will get better. I can't stress this enough that it takes time and practice and patience. It is not easy to do. If you're having a hard time finding the subharmonic range, you may be starting too high in the scale or too low. I would recommend getting with a piano or using an app on your iPhone or Android phone and starting at a place that is not too high or too low. You're gonna have to figure out what works best for you. I think I mentioned in the last video, somewhere around an A or G is usually a good place for me. And then make sure you're not using too much air or too little air. It's an extremely fine line to walk, and the only way you're gonna figure it out is by practicing. So like, if you're starting on a like for me, D would be high. You can just hear like I'm never gonna get it. It's too high for me. There's a lot of cracking and popping. So that would be a note that I would not try to do in subharmonics, but like a G is fine. I can get away with that one pretty much all the time. There were a lot of comments about making the subharmonic louder. That makes me think that there's a lot of off-mic acoustic singers out there watching this video. I don't have a lot of cause to sing off-mic these days. Voice Play always performs on microphone. Secondly, doing subharmonics off-mic is not a thing that I would probably do. I'm just not there yet. Maybe with time and practice, sure. But for all of you out there that are trying to make it audible off mic, stick with your strongest notes is what I would say, and really work on those to get those as audible as you can. Know what that feels like and just go for it. See how it works. How do you make the subharmonic smoother and more consistent sounding? This is a good one. Okay, so I can recommend, once you find the subharmonic range in your own voice, is I would start on whatever pitch is easiest for you. Ooh, G for me, and then slip into and out of your subharmonic register. So, ooh, and then once you get good at that, you can start moving up the scale or down the scale. So, was that D? That's that D I was talking about earlier. Look at that. Yeah, so that would be one way to do it. Obviously, it's going to take time to get to that point in your subharmonics as well. But once again, practice. Where do I place the note? Where do you place the note? Where do I place the note is, I feel it up here in my mask, but I am making very, very, very sure to drop my larynx out of the way. Like if you're watching, you can probably see, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but my atoms at my larynx is pretty low. That helps for some reason. I don't really understand the anatomy of it. Maybe somebody out there does. But yeah, so I'm not really sure I'm answering the question, where do I place it? I feel like it maybe starts up here somewhere and then moves back here. Sorry. Can subharmonics help you sing higher? Good question. I am probably not the person to ask about this. That, I believe, is called a vocal whistle or a whistle tone. There's lots of people out there that can do it. One of the most popular ones is Mariah Carey, or she used to be able to anyway. There's probably some YouTube tutorials out there about that. If you search around, you can probably find something. But once again, I'm not the guy to ask. Sorry. There were a lot of questions, however, about, is the subharmonic technique something that females can use? I don't know. I've never met anybody or seen any females that can do this. Not to say that they can't. I assume anatomically we're pretty similar in there. Give it a shot. Let me know if there's any women out there watching. I'd be super curious to find out for myself. EQing. I am not a sound engineer. However, I did mention in the last video that when you're doing the growl technique, you need to EQ the air out of it. What did I mean by that? Okay, first of all, I should have used a pop screen or a windscreen in the last video, and I didn't. That would have helped a lot. That cuts the air dramatically. Secondly, on the EQ, what you're trying to do with EQing the air out of it is basically just dropping all the high end, and for this technique, you're boosting the low end. So for example, like the end of Daddy Sing Bass. In the sky, Lord, in the sky, in the sky, Lord, in the sky. And obviously the better you get at that, the less air you have to push, and that just helps the sound overall. What can you do to lower your voice naturally? First, stay relaxed. What do I mean about stay relaxed? If you are pushing to hit low notes, or if you are straining for volume, your vocal cords are going to tighten up, and then you're going to lose your lower range. Everything's just going to get higher. So definitely stay relaxed. If you can do some light stretching, make sure these muscles are loose. If you're tight, that's going to be a problem. Yeah, so stay relaxed. Secondly, practicing your vocal fry in your lower register will help you achieve some lower notes and help you round out whatever lower notes you have. That being said, you're probably not going to increase your vocal range in your lower register a whole lot. You kind of need to be happy with the voice that you have. I would rather have a super loud low C than the A or the A flat. If I could sing that off mic and knock somebody over from across the room, I'd be very happy with that. So I've learned to work with what I've got. Practicing your vocal fry in your lower register will help you with that. So for example, just start as low as you can, or wherever, and then move down. That's one way that I know of. I also know, obviously, sulfur hexafluoride is a thing. Testosterone injections are a way to do that as well. Also, I should mention, you can induce light trauma to your vocal cords. For example, if you are out at a party one night and the music's kind of loud and you're talking with your friends and you're having to talk at a higher volume and you're putting a strain on your voice for an hour or two, something like that. And then you leave the party, you go home, you go to sleep. The next morning you wake up and you notice that your voice is maybe a little sore, but also a little louder, a little lower, a little more resonant. This is what I mean by you've induced light trauma. Your vocal cords were not used to doing that kind of activity for that long, and there's been some swelling. Over time, if you do that a lot, that's a really good way to get nodules, so don't do this a lot. But I have noticed that it does work. If I know I have to sing a really, really low note for an album or for a recording, I will intentionally try to wreck myself a little bit the night before. So when I wake up, I can roll right in here and just slam a low G or a low F sharp, whatever I need to do. It does work temporarily. Like I said, use this at your own risk. Also, sing all the time. I've noticed in my career that if I'm working consistently, if I'm singing a lot, then I'm able to do the things that I want to do with my voice. My voice is also more consistent. If you're looking for a place to sing, I would recommend joining a barbershop chorus or an a cappella society. You would be so surprised with how much you can learn singing with other people. It's a great, great, great thing to do, and I cannot recommend it highly enough. If you're looking for something, there's some links below in the description. Finally, you can wait. Males and females alike, your voice will change until the day you stop breathing. Your job as a singer is to keep all of your range and not just worry about the low notes. You want to keep the high notes and the low notes. If you've seen any of Voice Plays videos, you know they make me use every single note that I have. Thanks, boys. Finally, who do I think is the best bass out there? Well, I think it's pretty obvious. And you guys probably agree too. There's really only one answer. I mean, come on. It's gotta be